big privilege for me to attend. This is the second workshop, I had. So it is the blessings of the Lord that actually, first, initially we have the same date, same month, and almost, the similar workshop. But earlier, our Sahaji was representing Department of Tribal Welfare. Now he is representing the appropriate department, this rural development, where now that very one of the biggest program of Government of India, this Mahatma Gandhi MGNREGA, now it has an opportunity. So it's a very natural coincidence, and now we have to see that it is get implemented, and we get good results by 2026, because United Nations, they declared International Year for Rangeland and Pastoralists. So I tell about very briefly how we have achieved this. As an NGO, we are a small NGO based at Madurai, Tamil Nadu. We have been documenting traditional knowledge of our communities, whether pastoralists, tribals, or some natural, this herbal healers, herbal medicine, and those who have been considering these traditional varieties or local livestock breeds, whatever, that knowledge that has been not transferred from older generation to younger generation. So that gap is there because of there is a fault in our education system. So something we have to do. So under the guidance of Professor Anil Gupta and also Dr. Ilsi, so we have been documenting many traditional practices, their animal genetic resources or the plant genetic resources that we have been documenting. So after documenting, next what? So we have to see that we have to be transformed, it has to be implemented, or it has to be scaled up, or it has to be mainstreamed. So we have association with some similar mindset of NGOs and organizations. We got together and we have been doing some lobbying work. Initially, FRA Forest Rights Act, 2006 also come because of our lobbying with NGOs like Sahajivan, Life Network and other colleagues, and we have represented, and ultimately Government of India in the Forest Rights Act, they provided a provision. Those pastoral communities who have been grazing in the forest for the last 3 generations, they are eligible to continue grazing and also harvest minor forest produce, fishing and other activities, they can continue. So that was the first achievement with our group of NGOs, and still we have to go a long way to implement that, the Forest Rights Act, and see that, that we are a part of that, see pastoralists and the rangelands, how they contribute, and their ecosystem services, that we have to record it, and we have to now recognize and see that, that they get the due respect in the society, because they are contributing a lot to our economy and ecosystem service also. That we have to, the first part we have to understand. And secondly, see the rangelands, they have been very silently, it has been converted to other purpose, mainly by government, even sometimes private people or some politically influenced people, they have been encroaching. So ultimately it affects the traditional system of this natural livestock production, because pastoral communities, they have been keeping lot of that breeds. We recorded about some 270 that Southern also knows, who has been associating with the NBAGR government, the National Bureau of Animal Genetic Resources. The most of the breeds, it has been covered by pastoral communities, traditional grazing communities. So that other communities, of course, they are having, but it's very less. So out of 220 or 25 that number of breeds, more than 70% of the breeds, it has been conserved and kept by our traditional pastoral communities. They include the marginalized communities, tribals, they are nomadics, they practice this nomadism and also migrate from one place to another place. So far it has been not recognized. So with the same set of mindset, we just started lobbying work, because Mongolia, the Mongolia government, where more than 80% of that land area, it's a rangeland, and they are depending upon the pastoralism for their national this economy also. So that way they proposed their in the resolution that proposed a resolution in the FAO, later on United Nations also they have endorsed, and many government, including our India, we have been doing lobbying with the Ministry of Animal Husbandry, and with the SAPA on NGO, the Afghanistan we got the letter of support, and from Bhutan also we got it. So likewise, we just gathered to approach every country, even though because there are government functionaries are there, but as an NGO, we have that liberty to contact, and we ultimately achieved more than some 120 organization, 120 government, in the United Nations, they given the letter of support. So that is a big achievement. and more than 300 NGOs, international NGOs, local NGOs or regional NGOs, they have given us support. So all together, we have placed in the United Nations this General Assembly. So by 2021, they actually they have cleared that 15th March, that is the 2026 will be declared as an international year for rangeland and pastoralists. Like India earlier, the proposal for that international year for millets, our government of India, Minister of Agriculture, they have taken it forward. But this is an initiative of our NGO initiative. So 2024 also is a year of camels and camelids. And 2025, that's this Palmyra Purush. 2026 will be our year of international year for rangeland and pastoralists. So that way, it is a very great opportunity to work more in a very, very enthusiastic, with more strength and stamina. So many volunteers, including scientists, civil servants, and also NGOs, they joined with us. And the first workshop we have started, as he told, so any auspicious program we have to start from Kanyakumari to Kashmir. Any yatra, very big stalwarts or politicians or leaders, they started. So this is reverse. You can say it's Amarnath to Kanyakumari. Of course, and he has been also placed in charge for Amarnath also. So that way, Himalayans to this our Tamil Nadu, Kanyakumari. So that we are very proud of that, that the first our workshop we initiated last year, 2023, on IIRP, that rangeland and pastoralism. The same year, now we have we didn't expect, but all happened coinciding with all our efforts. So that way we are very, very fortunate, and we see that a role model is set up in Kashmir, because in many states already FES Foundation for Ecological Security and some NGOs, Sahajivan and many NGOs, they have been doing in isolated way, in a pilot scale. Now it is time for scaling up. So for this so the 2 days, 3 days workshop, we have to build up some overall the framework, and to see that this Mahatma Gandhi NGNREGA and other related government schemes, how we are going to streamline it or just accommodate our priorities, because we have to, without rangeland conservation or without sustainable rangeland or healthy rangeland, we can't ensure that sustainable pastoralism. Pastoralism in turn contribute to our country, economy and biodiversity conservation. So a holistic approach, that will be very, very more relevant. And today also I think our United Nations compared for desertification, UNCCD, that representative, and also Mr. that consultant and the author of that global land outlook, that the thematic of rangeland and pastoralism, he was delivering a keynote address. So what are everybody is telling, So you see that rangeland, that afforestation is not the practical solution. So we have to sit with the people and see what are the traditional grazing land, how it exists, and also for carbon sequestration, it is better than forest, they are telling. So that way we have to understand that all the ecological services offered or contributed by the rangeland. So that way we have to scientifically understand and go together and see that that holistic development of rural villages, it contributes to the community, economy, environment and biodiversity conservation. So that way we have to take it forward. So that way FAO, United Nations and our government of India, we have to sort out the programs, and in that way if Jammu Kashmir to take a lead, then we will be very, very happy to go about that. If some few minutes are there, I can present a small 2 slides, sir. Mr. Ice. So actually global level there's 11 regions we have, because we are part of South Asia region and we have been representing. So we don't have any official structure, any formal organization. Many NGOs or even civil servants, scientists, we are a part of informal network. So we have a South Asia regional network of our RISG South Asia we call. So that way we have been implementing. So after this our Kashmir workshop, we organized a national workshop at IGFRI, Indian Grassland Forest Research Institute, in association with the Rangeland Management Society. So now that outcome, that they given a recommendation, partial and policy, draft policy, they come out and they have been placed to Government of India to get the comments. So that was the main outcome. So likewise, we see that at least every Gram Panchayat, at least they conserve at least some 10 hectares of common land or rangeland or grazing land. So that already we talked with our Minister of Animal Husbandry, that Secretary Madam Alkal Madam also, she has initiated, communicated to all the secretaries of that different states in our country to see that at least Ek Panchayat and Ek Warren land or this Gochar land, that's one Panchayat and one grazing land of minimum 10 hectares, you should be a compulsory. So that way, I think it is then our rural development department in Jammu Kashmir then take it a lead. So likewise, we have to see some policy level things. Unless some policies comes, we can't do what much practical thing. We can't. It will not happen. So, okay, sir. This is possible. Okay. Yeah. So actually, we see the principles of rangeland management. So earlier we have been seeing wherever the lands have been, because by knowingly or unknowingly we have been classified as a wasteland or something arid land, it is unfit for agriculture. Then later on, we have to develop some irrigation or something to convert into cropland. So such thinking was going on. But very recent with research, with many institutes like in UNCCD, FAO and ILRI, so like related organizations, they come out with the natural rangelands, So this is a part of the ecosystem, you have to conserve as such. So for this, we come out with our many discussions, so far many meetings, with many NGOs and government organizations. There are 4 R's or 4 principles we can say. Reseeding, number 1. Then resting period, then regulated grazing, then relevance to the community. 4 R's. Reseeding means, see wherever the grasses are not up to the mark, or it is very degraded. So such lands now we have to improve. For quick improvement, only option is that artificially we have to go for reseeding. Then what are the species we have to take, Then our traditional knowledge, our farmers' knowledge, or this community participation, they will tell, so these are all the local species. Their nutrition value, or then ethno-veterinary, or the medicinal value, so or the food value, everything they will tell, and we have to see that it is accommodated. And so that also then again see under Mahatma Gandhi MGNREGA and convergence and related schemes, how to procure such seeds, seed procurement, and how to go with selection or nursery raising or any other propagation methods. So likewise, we have come out a small framework. It will be helpful for micro level planning. So in a particular block or particular grassland area, maybe any place in Kashmir or any other place. So these are the principles we follow with this, Then ultimately that our Mahatma Gandhi MGNREGA, one of the biggest program of our country, So that has to come for the rescue. That's the major program. In other than that, of course, people can contribute in other schemes and voluntary schemes are there. So these are very nutshell. I am just telling. So how the community participation, and again the principles of 4 R's, and how we have to construct. There are many components are there. What can be covered under Mahatma Gandhi MGNREGA or any other scheme. So I think your department, they are well versed of that. So now we have to carefully how fit into this. So that we want to stress. So this I want to conclude. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, the co-chair of the Regional International Year of Rangelands and Pastoralists in the Sheriff Support Group South Asia, for your special address.